Good evening to the good people. Good evening to the bad people, friends and enemies. And good evening, boom shakalaka, to you all. I am Chris Bass. And this is of course, the Precursor. Now, the Precursor usually airs at 4 p.m. Central, but I wasn't feeling too well, so I want to make sure I got a little rest and come on here in prime time, so on 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope you get a chance to be a part. The Precursor, of course, is the pre-show going into Baseline that we have every Friday at 4 p.m. as we go out to, of course, comment section and say happy Wednesday, of course. Wednesday greetings to Barbara Jean. Thank you, Barbara Jean, for the extra share there. Today is National Radio Day for everybody in the industry. I said to all the brothers and sisters who were involved in radio, who continue to do radio, enjoy the day. Get a chance to sit back and because again, it goes back to the 1920s, the longest medium form in the history of broadcasting. So it's always good to be a part of that. So also, real quick, if you're in the comment section in the peanut gallery, or you want to call in at 312-597-2106, you want to let everybody know that you were in radio for Radio Day, and let everybody know. Put in the comment section. Be proud. Let's see. Hello, Chris. Happy Wednesday. How was your day today? Okay. I got a lot of ailments going on, and it's too many to mention at this point. Aches and pains and pains and aches, and so just trying to get through that. So that's why I told you that not do the 4 o'clock, but I feel get a little more rest, and then come on here now. So I'm okay. I mean, I'm about fair to Midland. I'm about mid right now. How you doing? Let's see, what's up, Walter Cannon, Bobo? I have no idea what that means. Sometimes, Walter's an older gentleman, and sometimes you're old, you lose your faculties. And so I think if I didn't know, he'd be trying to call me Bobo, but my name is not Bobo, it's Chris Bass. So I think what happens is, you start to lose the synapses in your mind. Mr. Cannon, you got to get that checked out, Doc. I don't know who Bobo is. I'm taking a guess. Is that me? It's the second time you put Bobo into the comment section. Gotta call a doctor. Go see the doctor. Doom, doom, doom. And of course, Barbara Jean's also going through the Chris Bass channel, all one word with a period at the end of the channel on the YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Let's see. Omar, take your rest and let God do the rest. I am fine. I had a blood work done today. Okay, cool. Yeah, when you get the blood work done, I know about you, but I pray for someone who definitely gets the needle in on the right vein instead of having to poke you like 3 or 4 times with some damn pin cushion. Dry humping early, call in. I don't know what that means. See what I mean? See what I mean? Seriously, really, I don't know who is part of a Walter's family, but they shouldn't allow them to type. You should not be allowed to type. This is ridiculous. Again, I'm serious. You think I'm bullshit? Hold on a second. So this was earlier. Now, what the hell does that mean? Doesn't mean anything in this conversation whatsoever. He didn't even try to explain what it meant. And then he got this dry humping early call in. Nobody's dry humping anybody. You gotta take care of the mind. I'm telling you. Let's see. I had on the right vein to get my blood drawn. Yeah, good. I swear for God that when I go give blood work like you did, that the woman or man or whoever knows they're doing, and usually 9 out of 10 times is very smooth. Whatever arm they get, they'll get it, and it's hallelujah. Because I had instances before where I think the most time I was stuck with a needle and could not get a vein was like 5 on this arm and 5 on the other. Yeah, that was pretty rough, doctor. Barbara G, he craves attention. Yeah, it could be. Going back to you about Walter, it could be. I really think that it's time to go to the home. Really, I think it's time to. I mean, I don't know. Once again, I don't know who his family is, but maybe that could be it. I mean, go to the home, sit in the rocking chair in the corner somewhere, eat rice pudding, and reflect on life. Could be. 'Cause I don't know what the hell he's talking, typing. Just type. Other people just type any goddamn thing. There you go. But this part right here, very, very interesting. That Barbara King just typed could be true. Let's see. Okay, the conservative network Newsmax will pay $67 million to settle a lawsuit accusing it of defaming a voting equipment company by spreading lies about President Donald Trump in 2020 election loss, according to documents filed Monday. The settlement comes after Fox News Channel paid $787.5 million in a similar suit in 2023, and Newsmax paid what the court papers described as a $40 million to settle a libel suit from a different voting machine manufacturer called Smartmatic, which also was a target of pro-Trump conspiracy theories on the network. Goes on to say Delaware Superior Court Judge Eric Davis had ruled earlier that Newsmax didn't indeed defame Denver-based Dominion voting systems by airing false information about the company and its equipment, but left Davis it to a jury to eventually decide whether this was done with malice, and if so, how much Dominion deserved from Newsmax in damages. Newsmax and Dominion reached a settlement before the trial could take place. Let's see. And happy Radio Day to you too, brother Walter. How you doing? Thank you so much. And again, happy Radio Day to you. And Walter used to work in radio. The settlement was disclosed by Newsmax in a new filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. It said the deal was reached Friday. Newsmax believed it was critically important for the American people to hear both sides of the election disputes that arose in 2020, the company said in a statement. We stand by our coverage as fair, balanced, and conducted with professional standards of journalism. See, when you hear stuff like fair and balanced, yeah, your meter should go up. Your BS meter should go up. And that's on any network. The disclosure of the settlement came as Trump, who lost his 2020 re-election bid to Democratic nominee at the time, Joe Biden, vowed in a social media post Monday to eliminate mail-in ballots and voting machines such as those supplied by Dominion and other companies. It was unclear how Republican president could achieve that. The same judge also handled the Dominion Fox News case and made a similar ruling that the network repeated numerous lies by Trump's allies about his 2020 loss, despite internal communications showing Fox officials knew the claims were bogus. At the time, Davis found it was crystal clear, quote unquote, that none of the allegations were true. That's his plan, see, going back to Trump. So start a movement, he said on social media, on Truth Social. Start this movement to ban mail-in ballots. And he himself, meaning Trump, mailed in ballots for his own self when he was running for the presidency. And Mr. President, did you have mail-in ballots yourself? I don't know about that, because everything he knows he doesn't know because he deflects. How you be the president and not know any goddamn thing that comes your way? Mr. President, didn't you have the ability to mail in ballots for your own candidacy? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. I can't have cuffs or needles on my right side recently, they ended up putting a needle in my left hand after 2 failed attempts in my arm. Let me start on the hand there, going back to when you get your blood drawn. That's the most painful thing. Arm, of course, is usually the standard, which it is. When they go through your hand, like around here, oh, geez. Mm-mm-mm. You want you want to suffer or put somebody through some torture? Yeah, stick needles in their hands like you do if like what Barbara Jean went through. I've gone through that too. That's the most excruciating pain. So going back to 47, he has this deal. See, he wants you to stop with the mail-in ballots because again, you got this plan. So you got to go this movement, this bowel movement that he's trying to push off here. I get exhausted doing coverage and shows about this. I really do. I am drained. But as I said before, I, as a broadcaster and a talk host and someone who does research before they do their programming, I got to continue it. I refuse to ignore it, but it is really overkill. So again, I apologize in advance. I do apologize, but it's the world we're living in. And to the people who do follow me, it will be discredited if I did not say anything about what's going on. I can't keep my head in the sand. I can't be that person. I don't want to put my head in the sand. It's where we are right now. I think we should ignore it. But going back to this whole thing with 47 and trying to stop them, have this bowel movement of banning mail-in ballots. And again, being hypocritical because he used it his damn self. And so when you're trying to stack the deck, like what's going on in Texas, where you have these politicians who are trying to redistrict the whole thing so they can balance the votes so it can be a vote Republican in that particular time. And the Democratic representatives from Texas, of course, left and came here to Illinois and went back. I said before, I had to recant my statement. I thought in the beginning that they, meaning the Democrats, should have been fined. But then I thought about it. So I had a conversation with my mom about it. And yeah, let them do that because, again, we are in uncharted territory when it comes to politics. Performance politics. We're involved in that. And that's what we see right now. And either party is just completely screwed at this stage in the game. Who we want to vote for in this stage because the standpoint of looking at where these parties are. Look at the Republican Party, but it's not Republican Party, it's the party of Trump. Let's get that out the way first and foremost. They should, when you see them on television, don't even put an R by their name, put a T for Trump by their name. That's what they should do because that's the party of Trump. And again, the Republican Party laid down and let this man take over. They want to be in power so bad, regardless of morals, regardless of how the man was, from the standpoint of him being a part of the Republican Party. A lot of people thought it was a joke, but we started to get steam and people started listening to him, and he has these rallies over the years and coming out in droves. Oh, okay, well maybe we can rock and roll. It's that scene from Trading Places. Remember that scene? When Billy Ray Valentine was getting in the car with the Dukes, and he got out of jail because they freed him. We're the ones that bailed you out. Remember that scene? You could pull over right now. You could walk away from us forever. Looks around the car, sees the telephones and the mini televisions. Got cigars in one hand and whiskey in the other. No, I can hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. So that's what happens when you compromise. You compromise. And that's what they did with the Republican Party. They compromised the party of Trump. Pretty much said, to hell with it. No, we can hang out with Trump for a little bit longer. And that's what they did. And now you've seen the aftermath of the whole thing. Because you got too. in this world of Trump. You thought you were safe? No, no, you got used like a $2 hole. You did, and they don't want to admit it. They did. Turnout, lost and turnout. Barbara, I'm sick of that smelly, angry, orange, uh, gas bag, bully, racist bigot. Me too. Me too. But it's what we have at this time right now. It is beyond sick. So, I mean, he could bitch him all he wants to about the banning the mail-in ballots, but completely stupid. And he has these things. Let's get every 10 to 15 minutes on the news, breaking news, and it's something that will never get done because he doesn't have the power to do it. But the fact he put it in the atmosphere to give the idea of possibly can he, with the right backing, or his underlings would do it for him, whether it's national or local. It just gets tiring. And I said before, it's one of those things where you again you can't make sense of the nonsense. It's impossible. Let's see here. Going back to Trump again, doing some crap. Let's see here. I mean, again, it just goes on and on. So you're about this too. So again, Trump on Tuesday confirmed the White House is conducting a review of the Smithsonian museums and expressed frustration over their portrayal of dark parts of American history, including slavery. The Smithsonian is out of control. Out of control is in capital letters, where everything is discussed about how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future, Trump wrote on his social media platform. We're not going to allow this to happen, and I have instructed my attorneys to go to the museums and start the exact same process that has been done with colleges and universities where tremendous progress has been made. The country cannot be woke because woke is broke. Okay, yeah, very clever. We have the hottest country in the world. What? The hottest country in the world? What is this country like a woman or something? I don't get it. The hottest country in the world, and we want people to talk about it, including in our museums. The Smithsonian declined to comment. ABC News reported last week that the White House planned to do a wide-range review of the Smithsonian Institute's exhibitions and operations ahead of America's 250th anniversary next year. In a letter sent to Lonnie Bunch, the secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, the White House wrote that it wants to ensure that the museums reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story. When Trump visited the National Museum of African American History and Culture in 2017, he had a different opinion about the discussion of slavery in the museum. In his remarks that day, he praised Bunch, the current secretary of the Smithsonian, who was the founding director of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Trump referred to the museum as incredible, done with love, and a truly great museum. He praised abolitionist figures Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass. He even recounted a story he learned about a runaway slave. He called the tour of the museum a meaningful reminder of why we have to fight bigotry, intolerance, and hatred in all forms of its very ugly forms. Well yeah, because he's one of them. The White House review is to be said to be focused on 8 museums, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the National Museum of American History, the National Museum of Natural History, the National Museum of American Indian, the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the National Air and Space Museum, the National Portrait Gallery, and his the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden. That's a lot. That's a lot. And again, trying to erase history, and especially people of color who have made millions upon millions of contributions in this country about history. Hell, black folk in this country are history. Not only black history, but history, period. They helped build this country. Omar Tyatt, I forgot a happy radio day, Chris. Thank you, Omar. Deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much. So again, you're looking at someone who wants to interject himself into everything, which he continues to do. I have not seen the president or wannabe dictator insert himself in everything. I just never seen it. I'm going about this whole thing with trying to erase history. Well, look at it as well. He's consistent in his inconsistency. So, for example, you had him involved, or whoever he's got the ear from to do this. At one point, they removed Jackie Robinson's name, of course, the iconic baseball player who played for the Dodgers, the first black or back then Negro to be in the Major League Baseball. Played for, of course, the Brooklyn Dodgers, and of course moved to LA. Remove his name from the military record online, and to put it back, the naval ships that are named after people who served in some capacity, like, of course, the Honorable Judge Thurgood Marshall and Harvey Milk from San Francisco as their mayor, who happened to be gay, and they wanted to erase those names too from the naval boats, naval ships. So it's bit by bit when it comes to him making this country white again. But it's never been white. They have white people, obviously, but it's a melting pot of various people from various backgrounds, from various countries, that makes this country great. See, another thing that's not talked about, the census did a take, and they said by the year 2050 that there will be no more pure Caucasian people in this country. That's what they said. So now all of a sudden, when the powers that be in this situation they get a hold of that, all of a sudden, what happens? You have the Supreme Court reverse and turn over Roe v. Wade, and you have these women going through pain and sometimes death if the pregnancy does not go well. There have been more accounts of women going from state to state to see if they get medical help and bleed out. And the story behind that is so that way they can start giving birth to more white children, which is diabolical. I believe the two are together. I believe the two stories are linked. Because it's still shocking to me that Roe v. Wade was overturned. I still can't fathom that. But it was. And then you want to take over the rights of women being pregnant. That's asinine. It's insane. Let's see. Go back to the comment section. What's up, Jed? How you doing? Do things you need to bring a license plate to vote. After visiting a display of slavery, he commented he is big in the Netherlands. The Smithsonian isn't a museum anymore. Right, exactly. Oh, and so hey, hi, Base Nation. Yeah, thank you, Jed. Absolutely, thank you so much. As I said, when he was back in 2017 for the, make sure I got it right again, the African American History and Culture Museum, but not, I mean, all these museums he went to, going back to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, he praised the museum. But you can't take him seriously because, the man lies all the time. So what if he went back and decided to eradicate and erase, slavery? Or when you say stuff like slavery wasn't that bad and stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. And again, you're erasing history because you're part of the plan. The project 2020, but that thing. And it continues to just bleed into our society. When you are able to have that much power and influence, and you're the so-called president, and then you hire these people in your cabinet who do not belong there at all. I think it was Sesame Street back in the day, and they had this bit. I think it was one of these things is not like the others. So when you have someone like Robert Kennedy Jr. in charge of health, I think that he needs help. He needs medical attention. I know about the whole thing, worming his brain stuff, whatever, and everything. But you think he's capable of trying to uh, head a department for the government? I don't think so. And, 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 goddamn Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's the guy we got. That that all that shaking, whatever. I'm sorry. I know that that's what makes fun of people got these ailments, but it's the fact that, again, here's another idiot who has a high profile position and talks about, well, we should not be vaccinated, and he shouldn't do that, and but yet I heard that he had people in his family vaccinated. So what the hell? Again, this classic high hypocrisy. And again, when you're dealing with that type of behavior pattern, it's you want to again say to yourself, this can't be happening. This can't, but unfortunately it is. And again, dealing with people who should not be involved in these type of environments from the standpoint of Pete Hegseth, Gene Pirro, and stuff like that. These people came from television. They're television people. And you think that, don't get me wrong, it depends on the person who's being hired. So it's different, but still, it's not the person is qualified. It just kept going on and hiring these people who do not belong there at all. So, let's see. Elise Stefanik isn't usually the one on the hot seat. The Republican Congresswoman from New York has built her no holds barred political brand around grilling college presidents during congressional hearings. But it was her turn to face intense public scrutiny on August 18th when she met with a wave of loud boos from the crowd during an event to honor a late local politician in the town of Plattsburgh. The jeering, which went viral, was so bad that she gave up on speaking and passed the microphone back to the others on stage. Shame. The protesters shouted, along with unsealed Epstein files. Good for them. It's a disgusting disgrace that this is what the far left does, she later told a local news outlet. Now let's back up the truck for a second. This is what they do, meaning Republicans, so-called Republicans. Blame everything on the far left. Blame everything on the liberals. What booing there at this event had to do with liberals or left wing? No, nothing at all. Nothing. You can't prove it at all. So instead of taking the hit, like most human beings do, or I do believe in karma, that it comes back to bite you in the ass tenfold, instead of taking the L, no, it was the left wing media or left wingers out there booing me. Get the entire fuck out of here. Go home. Go home and suck on your thumb. Because now you act like a damn baby. Get you a pacifier. Get your binky and take a nap. This is what the far left does. It's the latest instance of a GOP lawmaker encountering unhappy constituents in recent months. Anger over the economic impact of tariffs, the president's new tax and spending law, and cuts to federal workforce has prompted a series of town halls across the country. The Democratic National Committee seized the moment, writing on the post on X, "That's what happens when you sell out your constituents to Donald Trump." The moment comes at a changing political time for Stefanik as she eyes a run for governor of New York State. 47 pulled a nomination to be ambassador to the United Nations earlier this year. Yeah. Well, I'm glad they booed her. I'm glad. Because people are getting screwed and they're tired and they're sick or tired of being sick and tired. So when you look at this big, beautiful bill that 47 has, and to take away Medicaid, Medicare for the sake of tech billionaires to have a great tax cut is shameful. That's shameful. Because as I checked, and I don't know why people don't buy into it, I mean, not all these Republicans are rich. There are some people out there who are middle class. I say some even poor. And they depend on Medicaid and Medicare. And they're Republican and most likely voted for Trump when they did. This is how Trump pays them back. How do you feel now? It's like the song by Kool Moe Dee back in the day. How you like me now? Yeah. Used you all the way. So you give these billionaires a tax break and raising these tariffs. So it's going to come to a point where, say, Chipotle and Home Depot and companies like that, companies are public, they will get to a point where it's like, okay, we ate what we could from the tariffs, but we can't do it anymore. So the consumer has to get hit and they'll raise the prices. And then you and I get hit because they can't pay off the tariffs anymore. So they raise the prices of their whatever they have. Once again, it could be, once again, I mentioned before about Home Depot, Chipotle, whoever. And all of a sudden everything's raised up because they can't do it anymore. So that could be the plight. And it looks like we're heading that way. Because you only could do so much as a company with these high tax brackets. It's high taxes as well. So again, it's not looking good from that perspective for all of us. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. It's not even a Republican thing or a Democratic thing or like I call them Trumpites and independents. It's not about that at all. It's just about human It's a human thing. Once again, the man has no compassion at all for anybody, let alone his damn self. And that becomes an issue, as well it should. So to constantly see this go over and over and over again, who wants to get hit with prices being raised? But all you want to do is find a way to survive. You got bills to pay, responsibilities, excuse me, to yourself, depending on your situation, your household, to your family. You have all these things. Television's MSNBC News Network is changing its name to My Source News Opinion World, or MSNOW for short, or MS Now, as part of a corporate divorce from NBC. There's like one Central Valley in Cali where most of the strawberries come from. Just saying, enjoy the prices. We are screwed. Jed types. He's right. You're right. We're screwed completely. All of us. The network, which appeals to liberal audiences with a stable of personalities including Rachel Maddow, Ari Melber, and Nicole Wallace, has been building its own separate news division from NBC News. It will also remove NBC's peacock symbol from its logo as part of the change, which will take effect later this year. The name change was ordered by NBC Universal, which last November spun off cable networks USA, CNBC, MSNBC, E! Entertainment, Oxygen, and the Golf Channel into its own company called Versat. None of the other networks are changing their name. MSNBC got its name upon its formation in 1996 as a partnership then between Microsoft and NBC. Name changes always carry an inherent risk, and MSNBC president Rebecca Cutler said that the employees, it is hard to imagine the network under a different name. This was not a decision that was made quickly or without significant debate, she said in a memo to the staff. During this time of transition, NBC Universal decided that our brand requires a new, separate identity, she said. This decision allows us to set our own course and assert our independence as we continue to build our own modem news gathering organization. Still, it's noteworthy that the business channel CNBC is leaving NBC in its name. MSNBC argues that CNBC has always maintained a greater separation and its business focus is less likely to cover many of the same topics. Still, the affiliation between a news division that tries to play it safe and one that doesn't hide behind its liberal bent are as long as it causes attention. 47 refers to the cable network as MSDNC for Democratic National Convention. Oh, his wit is just so witty. Even before the corporate change, NBC News has been reducing the use of its personalities on MSNBC. The network had also hired Carol Leoning, Catherine Rampell, and Jackie Alamani from the Washington Post, and Eugene Daniels from Politico. Maddow, in a recent episode of Pivot, noted that MSNBC would no longer have to compete with NBC News programs for reporting product from out in the field, meaning it would no longer get the leftovers. Maddow said, in this case, we can apply our own instincts, our own queries, our own priorities to getting stuff that we need from reporters and correspondents. And so it's going to be better. Well, I'm a fan of MSNBC. I think it's great. I think their news is spot on. Again, having to connect to NBC, now they're going to part company. But as Rachel Maddow said, that she feels this is going to be a good move and be more independent and not have NBC over their shoulder, because the guess I think is like anything else, these networks are playing it safe. We all know what happened with ABC dishing out what $12.5 million in a lawsuit with George Stephanopoulos, and then the merger of CBS and Paramount to get Skydance Media. That was the main thing they wanted to get, and that had to be approved by the FCC in a Trump administration. Of course, we found out about Stephen Colbert stepping down from the Late Show as of I believe next May of next year, and just destroy the whole show altogether. So there's no replacement. The show is gone after this is concerned. After next year, this once again, all the stuff that 47 does, it's personal. There's no business involved. It's all personal. None. So there you have it. Any comments or questions about what we're talking about, please type in the comment section, or you can call in at 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. Also, if you dare, ask for the show link. I'll put the show link in the comment section. You come on through there. I'm also on social media. I am the base on Instagram. Got the YouTube channel, the Chris Base channel, all one word with a period at the end of the channel. Facebook Live. So again, come on board. There's no excuse not to get involved. Get involved is what we do here. Okay. So, again, with all that's going on in the world, you try to find something that brings you calm or brings you delight, smile on your face. I suggest you do that. I really do, because we're living in strange days, my people. Strange days indeed. And it can get very, very heavy. So do something that once again that makes you feel good. You might do it a lot, because a lot of the crap that's happening on nowadays, you might have to get in that happy space a little more than usual. Director Spike Lee's multi-part documentary for ESPN Films about NFL quarterback, a former NFL quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, was sparking national debate when he protested racial injustice nearly a decade ago, will not be released, the filmmaker and ESPN said. ESPN, Colin Kaepernick, and Spike Lee had collectively decided to no longer proceed with this project as a result of certain creative differences, ESPN said in a statement to Reuters on Saturday. Despite not reaching finality, we appreciate all the hard work and collaboration that went into this film. Lee told Reuters on Friday that the series was not going to be released. It's not coming out. That's all I can say, Lee said on the red carpet ahead of the Harold and Carol Pump Foundation dinner, a fundraiser for cancer research and treatment in Beverly Hills, California. Asked why, the Oscar-winning director declined to elaborate, citing no disclosure agreement. He said, I signed a non-disclosure during this time. Kaepernick played for the San Francisco 49ers from 2011 to 2016. He ignited a national debate in 2016 when he knelt during the U.S. national anthem to protest systematic racism and police brutality. The 37-year-old athlete has not played in the NFL since that season. Many experts believe his political activism, which triggered a movement that drew the ire of 47, was the key reason teams were wary of signing him. He later filed a collusion grievance against team owners, which was settled with the league in 2019. A representative for Kaepernick said the player had no comment about this docuseries on Saturday. The production of the series began in 2022 with the Walt Disney-owned ESPN touting it as a full first-person account of Kaepernick's journey that would feature extensive interviews with the player. In September, Puck News reported the project faced delays amid disagreements between Kaepernick and Lee over the direction of the film, and the ESPN chairman, Jimmy Pitaro, was open to allowing the filmmakers to shop it elsewhere. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I remember hearing about that. I was looking forward to the documentary, the docuseries about Colin Kaepernick, because it was a lightning strike that he did about taking the knee for injustice. And again, you gotta be careful because now you become the enemy, and he did. He became the enemy. Why is he kneeling, and things like that? And you got to take into consideration. This is when he started to grow the afro. So you got this big black man, quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers at the time, taking the knee, got the afro out, out to the people. And remember, I know it's more so then now, but remember, the NFL was also recruitment for the military. Remember the planes would fly over and the military out on the field with the American flag when you saw the overshot? It would advertise for the military. That's what it was about. And you can't have an advertisement for the military if you got a black man on his knee protesting. And a couple of players sometimes would protest with him taking the knee, but he was the one that got hit, obviously. I can understand, and once again, I get the politics first and foremost. I get it, but it wasn't like he was lying about police brutality. It wasn't like he was jumping up and down trying to make a statement. It was a very peaceful statement about the kneeling. Well, it's un-American for him to kneel. Well, he got the idea from an ex-military person. It was an ex-military person that suggested he take the knee. So how can he be unpatriotic if someone who's a patriot who served in this country suggested he take the knee? Oh man. So yeah. Speaking of ESPN, if you're familiar with sports or sports announcing and people on there that do sports, Rich Eisen used to work for ESPN back in the day. And Rich Eisen, of course, like most, have left ESPN and doing his own thing. So now Rich Eisen returns to ESPN. He does a radio show called The Rich Eisen Show that does sports and celebrity interviews. And so ESPN will now have him on their radio network, and I'm sure he'll do some TV work as well. So this past Monday, as Rich Eisen said in his time on the show, that the president of ESPN, who's been taunting him, not taunting him, but telling him around him for years, I wouldn't say taunting, but he always appreciated Rich Eisen's work and wanted to get him back on ESPN, and they did. So his show will be on again on ESPN Radio. So this past Monday, he was asked before, do you want to do a sports center? And he was like, I've done a sports center in like 22 years. But he did it. And, it was pretty good. I mean, like anything else, like you get back on the horse again and, start to ride. I think he did a good job. And then the touching moment where he mentioned about the late, great Stuart Scott. And Stuart Scott was just a phenomenal broadcaster. He was a classic book smart and street smart. They both used to work on ESPN2 before they went to what we call the mothership on ESPN, the main network. Of course, Stuart Scott known with booyah and stuff like that. These phrases he was used. Of course, one of his famous was He is as cool as the other side of the pillow. That took some thought. So yeah, there you go. Rich Eisen was saying that he missed him, that they communicated a lot after the SportsCenter days. He would like to get his take on if Stuart Scott was still alive. His take on, of course, sports today. How would he feel about Bill Belichick being the football coach of Stewart's alma mater at University of North Carolina? It was a very touching moment. It really was. I've always said, there's no offense to Screaming Nate Smith. If Stuart Scott stayed alive, there would be no Screaming Nate Smith. He would not be the face of the network. I think the face of the network would have been and should have been Stuart Scott. That's just me. And you wouldn't have a Screaming Nate Smith. He'll probably be on part of the network, but he wouldn't be big time to where he is now. I certainly doubt it, because Stuart Scott had class. Not saying that Stephen A. does not have class. Just, you know how I feel about Screaming Nate Smith. Not my cup of tea at all. But my boy Stuart Scott, yeah, that was the man. That was the man. 50 grand. He was beyond dynamic. So with that being said, yeah, it was a nice touching moment. Then there was another thing I saw on viral video. So if you're a fan of Richard Pryor like I am, this was a segment from his show on NBC, the Richard Pryor Show. It was in one season. Under one season, it was on in the year 1977, and it was a skit, but it wasn't really a skit. It was a segment. So Pryor plays Willie, and he was a drunk at a local bar. John Belushi played the bartender, and he tells Willie to go home, and he'll see you tomorrow morning, the next day. And Willie staggers from the bar to his stoop, and then goes into his apartment. His wife, Willie's wife, is played by Maya Angelou. Richard Pryor plays Willie, and she plays the wife. And it starts off as a comedy, because all the stuff he was doing, meaning Richard Pryor, was funny, laugh out loud funny. And then he gets home, and Maya Angelou goes this whole soliloquy about who Willie was before he got drunk, before he became alcoholic. It's very moving. Very moving. And again, it's very deep. I like how, even though it was only on for a short time, I like how it went from comedy to drama in that segment that they were doing. And it goes from the brilliant comedy of Pryor to the brilliant prose and thought-provoking words as displayed by Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou, brilliant woman, brilliant. What can you say? She always had a grace about her. Very regal in her appearance, and of course the way she spoke and the way she wrote. I remember when I was in grammar school, we had to read "I Know Why the Cage Birds Sing." And I had to pick it back up again, get on the copy and read that. It's been years since I read the book. And then we were able to watch the made-for-TV movie on CBS, same time, "I Know Why the Cage Birds Sing." It was very moving, based upon her life. And again, people like that are just, when you're in there. I never met the woman personally, but just hearing her and seeing her on television, you know she's the real deal. Not trying to put on a fraud or pretend like she's somebody else. No, what you see is what you got. Now, if I didn't know any better, and help me out with this before we part company, was it my imagination, or did Mopra, I call Mopra Mother Oprah Winfrey, was it my imagination at one point Oprah was trying to sound like Maya Angelou? I mean, help me out. Type in the comment section real quick before we got. I seriously thought that. Maybe I don't know if it was just me. I mean, really, I know how much she admired Maya Angelou. I mean, that's obvious. Had on the show a few times. They got along and had those legends parties, stuff like that. Legends, get-togethers, and so obviously admired the woman. But I did not know any better. It's like she was trying to sound at the same cadence as Maya Angelou. I swear. Help me out with this guy. I thought that. I mean, really. I mean, think about it. Yeah, but I'm yeah. That's just me. You know, I feel about Mocha as well. So yeah, it came off that way. And I don't know if there's some consciously or thing like that. And I told you before about voices and sounds. So I remember when Oprah mentioned about Gail. Gail this and Gail that. Gail this and Gail that. Fungus this and fungus that. Talk about Gail. So Gail King. So if I got a chance to see Gail King, and they talk just alike, same cadence, same everything. What's up, Damien? Another radio brother. What's up, man? Happy National Radio Day to you too. How you feeling, brother? Thank you for being here. Of course, another person who resides in the Bay Area, just like Jed does. And thank you for chiming in, Damien. How you doing? And once again, happy National Radio Day to you as well. So going back real quick, just an observation of Mopra and Gail King. They sound alike, same case, everything else. So I thought that Gail was trying to sound like Oprah. That's what I thought in the beginning, but then it dawned on me. Gail was an anchor first. I've got what local city she worked at, but she was an anchor first before Oprah. So then I had it backwards. Oprah subconsciously or on purpose mimic Gail King's cadence. You don't believe me? Just for crap or giggles. You go on YouTube and check it out for yourself. Put your headphones on so you get the nice, crisp, clean, with no caffeine hearing and sound. Check it out for yourself. They sound alike. They really do. But I don't know if it's once again, conscious or subconscious thing. It's kind of freaky, really, when you break it down. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's one of those things where people say it is what it is. I say it was what it was. So again, thank you for your time on a Wednesday evening as you continue to wind down your day. Your day may be beginning. We don't know. So whatever you do, make sure you do it effectively. As I thank you for a late version of the Precursor. We're usually on 4 p.m. Central, but we decided to come on a little bit later. And I'm glad you're here with me for this ride as we can continue to do so on Friday. We have Baseline. Of course, that's 4 p.m. Central as well. So again, thank you for coming on with me this late time at 7. And so we'll see how it goes next week. Because like I said before, when I'm not doing CBI, I do Precursor. So it's a back and forth thing. Whatever is on the docket for that Wednesday, and Baseline stays consistent. Knock on wood as we move on. So catch me on Friday for Baseline as we continue to delve into topics of the day. What else is on your mind? Because we free your minds on Friday. Because when you free your mind, your yes always follows. I guarantee. Continue to be safe. Continue to be sound. Continue to be healthy. And most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. More power to you. As always, in parting with all of you, keep your head up.